Alright guys, so today's homework is over solving one-step equations. The first 6 are just those regular whole numbers like we did last week. And then the second 6 are what we did today, where we're working on solving one-step equations with rational numbers. So directions for this was that you show all of your work. So you need to write out the problem. You need to draw the line through the middle of the equal sign. You need to show what inverse you're doing to both sides. And then the final step is to check your solution. Okay, so to get credit for this assignment, you need to do all of those things. So how to solve. Let's go over that really quickly. So the first thing is to remember is that the goal of solving any equation is to get the variable by itself. We're trying to do everything we can to move everything else over so that we only have the variable left. Okay, so to do that, first determine what inverse operation that the equation requires. So if we look at it and it's an addition problem, we figure out, oh, the inverse to addition is subtraction. Okay, then you're going to perform that inverse operation to both sides of the equation. So whatever you do on one side of the equation, you have to do on the other to keep them equal. And then the last step is to write your answer in the form variable equals solution. So you want your variable over here on the left equal to a solution. Okay. All right, so keep in mind, every time we're talking about an equation, we want to think of it like a balancing scale. Okay, whatever we do to this side, we want to keep them nice and even and balanced, so we have to do the exact same thing over here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and look at question 1 on your homework. You have m minus 11 equals 17. So the first thing we're going to do is draw that line through the middle of the equal sign to help us remember whatever we do on this side, we got to come over here and do on this side as well. If we look at this problem, it is a subtraction problem, and we're trying to get this m by itself. So to cancel out a minus 11, we're going to add 11. Okay. Whatever we do on the left side, we got to come over here and do the exact same thing on the right side. Okay. Now on the left side, we have a minus 11 and a plus 11. Those two things cancel each other out, and we're left with just our m. Okay. On the right side, we have 17 plus 11. Okay. We have, and that gives us a 28. So our solution is m equals 28. Okay. Now, before your problem is complete, you need to go back and check your solution to make sure that it's correct. We're going to check our solution with substitution. We're going to take m equals 28 and substitute it in for the m. Okay, so you're actually going to have 28 minus 11, and you got to check to see if those are equal. All right, so let's also look at question number 3. Question 3, we're going to solve the exact same way, except we're going to use a different inverse operation. So we have r plus 5 equals 13. And the first thing we're going to do is draw that line through the middle of the equal sign. Okay, to remind us, whatever we do on the left, we're going to come over here and we're going to do the exact same thing on the right. So if we look at our problem, we have r plus 5, and we're trying to get the r all by itself. So to cancel out, or to use the inverse of plus 5, we're going to subtract 5. Whatever we do on the left, we're going to come over here and do on the right as well. All right, so on the left, we have a plus 5 and a minus 5. Those two are going to cancel each other out, and we're left with just an r. Over here, we have 13 minus 5. 13 minus 5 gives us an 8. So we get a solution of r equals 8. Now again, our problem's not complete. We got to go back and substitute our r with an 8 and check to make sure that your problem is correct. All right, now we're going to jump down a little bit. I want you guys to look at question 11, because a lot of people get tripped up on number 11 because of the fractional piece. They're not sure what inverse to do. So we're going to solve it. This is one of those rational numbers ones. Remember, we said rational numbers are just where we're throwing in decimals and we're throwing in fractions. So we're going to solve it exactly the same way. The first thing we're going to do is still to put that line down the middle of the equal sign. Okay. Now we need to look at our problem and determine what math operation is happening between our 4/5 and our y. We know from last unit that a coefficient right next to a variable means multiplication. So what this is saying is 4/5 times y. Now, I want to get the y by itself. So to cancel out a 4/5 times y, we're going to divide by 4/5. Okay. Whatever I do on this side, I'm going to have to come over here and do the exact same thing. So on this side, we have 16 divided by 4/5. Okay. On the left, we have a times by 4/5 and a divide by 4/5. Those two cancel each other out, and we're left with our y. And on the other side, we have 16 divided by 4/5. 16 divided by 4/5 is 20. Now we need to go back and check. So this is the really good thing about checking, is that like if you had used the incorrect inverse operation, your check would have not been equal at the bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our y and we're going to substitute in 20 where we see a y. So on your paper, you'll have 4/5 parentheses 20 parentheses is equal to 16. Then we actually need to multiply it out. 4/5 times 20 equals 16. 16 is equal to 16, so we know that our solution of y equals 20 is correct. Okay, so you're going to use all of those same steps to figure out the other problems in this on this homework assignment. Make sure you're checking all of your solutions. That's a great way to make sure that you get them all right.